Technology is not complicated. It is not explained properly. Hi, my name is Sai. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Decoding with Sai. Here, I will be explaining each day one unique topic that you have not understand properly. In this video, I will be explaining what is an API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It acts like a bridge between two applications or services. One side we have one app, other side we have another service. As you can see in this visual, one application is requesting data via API to another application. The second application is providing it the data. The app wants some information or action from that service or an application, but instead of directly entering the other system, it uses an API. API carries the request safely from one side to the other, then it brings back the response back. That is why we can say API helps applications talk to each other. Without APIs, each app would have to build everything by itself, but with API, applications can connect, share data, and work together smoothly. Let's understand this with a restaurant analogy. You are sitting at the table as a customer. Here you are. Kitchen is where the food is prepared, but you do not go inside the kitchen and ask the chef directly. Instead, you call the waiter. You tell the waiter what you want. The waiter takes your order to the kitchen. The kitchen prepares the food. Go to the waiter. Waiter goes to the kitchen. Kitchen gives you the food. Waiter gives it back. Here, API is explained as a waiter. This is the same thing that API does. App is like a customer. Service is like a service or another application. Request is like the food order. Response is the food that comes back. In simple words, API is a messenger between application and server. Now let's see how the API workflow works. First, user opens an application. Here it's a smartphone application. App needs some data or a service. This request goes to an API. API sends the request to the correct server. After processing, the server sends back the response. API carries the response back to the app. And finally, the app shows the result to the user. This simple cycle happens again and again in modern apps. Request goes out, response comes back, data is exchanged, and the user sees the final result on the screen. Let's understand this. Endpoint. Endpoint is a word. So, endpoint is like a specific address to a specific task. Every API has an endpoint. Imagine building with different service doors. One is for weather, one is for payment, one is for maps, and one is for login. If an app wants weather data, it sends the request to the weather endpoint. If the app wants payment data, it sends it to the payment endpoint. Similarly, this goes to either map endpoint or login endpoint. Endpoint tells the app where to send the request. API. In API, there could be different parts in which the data needs to be, in which the correct question needs to be answered. A map API or the map endpoint will not answer the payment queries, and vice versa. Login API or the endpoint would not answer the weather questions or the data that the weather endpoint has. Each service has its own endpoint. Let's look at a weather example. When you open a weather app, your phone is not checking weather itself. It's not measuring temperature, humidity, or the rain directly. Instead, it sends a request to the weather API. Request may say, give me the weather for this city or this location, particular location which you are staying, or any other country as well, other country or city or any geographical location as well. The weather service receives the request. It checks the weather data, processing is done here, then it sends back the response. Response may include temperature, humidity, rain forecast, wind speed, and all the data that the server could send back to the application. This is how a simple weather API works. Now let us see an online payment API. On the item page, you select some item that you want to purchase and you click the secure payment button. A payment request. At this moment, the shopping app does not become a bank. It uses an payment API. App sends a secure payment request to the payment service. Payment service checks the transaction. It may connect with your bank, the card details, payment method, then it sends back a response. If everything is correct, the response says payment successful. If something goes wrong, the response may say payment failed or verification required. The shopping app simply shows the result to you. The shopping app is not going to the bank and then doing all of this. Instead, it is using an payment API. Let us understand this same thing with the help of a Maps API for a cab application that you book. When you book a cab, you see a pickup location. You also see your destination. You see the route, distance, traffic, and estimated arrival. But cab app may not create the entire map system by itself. It can use a Maps API. The cab sends a pickup and destination. These two for data. Based on the data, the Map API calculates the best route. It checks the distance, traffic, and time. Then it sends the route data back to the cab. The cab app uses the response to show the route on your screen. So when you see a moving car on the map, the API may be working behind the scenes. Now let us understand how Google provides its login feature with the help of API. Imagine you want to log in with Google into your Google account. When you click login with Google, the app sends a login request. This request goes to Google's secure login system. Google asks you to confirm permission. After you approve, Google sends a secure response back to the app. The response tells the app that your login is verified. Then the app allows you to enter. This saves you from creating a new user and password for every app. But remember, the app does not get everything from your account. It only gets permission that you allow. This is another useful example of how APIs work. This visual shows the main idea of an API. A phone app is on one side, different cloud services are on the other side. In the middle, there is a bridge named as Application Programming Interface. There are packets that may go to weather service, payment service, maps, login, authentication, and whatnot. The service processes the request, then the response comes back through an API. This is how modern applications work together. A single app does not do everything on its own. It connects with other services using APIs. That is why APIs are so important in today's digital world. APIs make applications faster, smarter, safer, and more useful. Let us quickly recap what we have understood today. APIs helps applications talk to each other. API sends request, server processes the request, API brings back the response. This response may contain any data information that you may use. In simple words, APIs is like a waiter or bridge that carries messages between software systems. Request out, response back, and the app shows the result to the user.